Hello Exiles, this is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming and welcome to another Path of Exile video. Today's video I'm going over day 2 of my Holy Flame Totem Inquisitor, which I have been working on since yesterday. Yesterday it was just kind of a concept, and today it's finally starting to come together as an actual build, but I've got a lot of additional ideas that I'm going to continue to implement, and hopefully by tomorrow I'll have it basically fully decked out and ready to be considered an endgame contender. But at the moment, I'm just grinding out levels and doing pretty simple tier 16s, doing some of the Sanctums. This build is exceptional for Sanctums. I'm just going to do a really quick strand, kind of as a demonstration. I know sometimes my video footage can be a little stuttery. What I might end up having to do is put my max resolution for recording to 720p. I hope I don't have to do that. But at the moment, recording, because my PC is just kind of old, can be a little dicey. But hopefully it's not too stuttery for you guys. We will see. But yeah, this build is, as you can see, the projectile speed I have going for it is pretty good. So the clear is alright. Oop, almost died there, wasn't paying attention. Always had a little bit of difficulties mapping and talking at the same time. I've considered just recording a bunch of mapping footage and kind of doing a voiceover over it, which might make things a little easier. But final boss, drop some chisels, chance for chaos orbs. We will take the chaos. Alright. Yeah, just doing some altar farming, wandering path type stuff to try to get up a bunch of strands and crimson temples, and then running the Sanctum. Currently on a run where I am on floor 4 of the Sanctum, and yeah, this is functioning pretty well in the Sanctum overall. I think I could have a lot of successful runs with it. Very easy to just like chuck down totems and kind of run around corners and stuff, or just dodge mechanics while the totems take care of it. I can definitely see where people were coming from, saying that minions and totems and traps and such are the way to go for Sanctum. I can definitely feel that. So Frostblades, you know, I was doing so much damage that I never really considered it super hard, the Sanctum itself, because, yeah, just the way that the damage tends to scale by the time I get to endgame. But my single target is a bit lacking at the moment, but that's going to go up considerably pretty soon. And this is also 33% more monster life, so overall not too bad. Just a quick run end to end there, and now I will go over the gear. So as far as the bow, I actually did get a second bow that is physical, and I was going to use this, and counting the double damage and considering I was going to be able to scale like Herald of Ash and possibly use a circle ring in order to increase the power of Herald of Ash. That was kind of my plan at the time. Speaking of, I always like doing this on video. Haha, 2120 Herald of Ash. Nice. Nice, nice. Alright, actually hit one on camera this time. First time in quite a while I've done that. But yeah, my plan was to get a purely physical bow with kind of similar stats. In this case, I'd have double damage instead of crit multi. And then I was going to scale with Herald of Ash and a circle ring that increases the effect as well as fire damage done. And that way I could scale focus on like purely physical to fire conversion. That was kind of the plan. However, projectile speed is so important. You saw how far my projectile shot. With losing this 44 projectile speed, because I have, outside of this 44%, I have 60%. 20% from the Holy Flame Totem, 20% from here, and then I believe I have 20%, 22% here. So I have 106 total projectile speed. So 44% is a very large percentage of that, and the clear felt so much worse without the projectile speed that I decided it wasn't worth switching over. I'll probably use this for a non-projectile Battlemage build in the future, but at the moment, like, I'd like to do another Sandstorm Visage Battlemage build with the Inquisitor. I might respec it later on. So I'm going to hold on to this. But at the moment, the only change I did for this was the 1% increased critical strike chance per 4% quality, giving me 5% more critical strike chance, which brought me from 9.2 to 9.5% base critical strike. And I'm going to push this up to 28% quality. I'm currently in the process of putting Hillock into research. I have a lot of syndicate missions, 33 left, and I do have Hillock currently floating around waiting to be put into position, because I just ousted him from his safe house, finished that. So I'll be trying to move him into research. I have him, you know, I think I have him friends with some people. Let's see. Yeah, Hillock's here, and he is currently friends with Ashling, who is in research. Actually, that's his only connection, so I need him to show up with Ashling in order to get him over there. But yeah, that's a pretty realistic expectation, I think. I'll make sure to not move him anywhere else. So yeah, that'll give me like 9.6 or 9.7, somewhere in there, base crit chance. And as you can see, my current crit chance is 90.82. That'll bring me closer to 100. I'll need a little bit more of a push to get it to 100%. 561% crit multi at the moment. Still using the same Sandstorm Visage. I should probably just buy a better rolled one. I've been trying to like 3 for 1 a better one, and I've been trying to just farm up a better one. But at the moment, this is still probably the best one I have. But I'd like a 10 cast speed and higher base ES one for better mind over matter. Speaking of, I have or better Eldritch Battery, and I'm also running Mind Over Matter now, which is helpful. I still have the same Skin of the Lords. I didn't really go over my setup. I do have better gems now, so I have a 2120 Holy Flame Totem, which also gives projectile speed, so I guess I have 126 total projectile speed. But this gets put up to 25 because I get +2 from Skin of the Lords. And I also have Awakened Added Fire, which I tried to corrupt up to 6. It went down to 4. I'll have to re-level this before I replace my Skin of the Lords, or I'll lose the +1 level, as well as an Awakened Elemental Focus, which is +7 or level 7 from the Skin of the Lords. So good stuff there. Then I have a 21 Cruelty, 2120 Multi-Totem, which gives me totem placement speed, which is really nice, and a 2214 crit damage. So I could do a little bit better there. I'm losing like 4% crit multi by not having a 2120. So just a little bit more optimization there. But I am going to be replacing the Skin of the Lords in the near future. I decided to anoint Utmost Intellect to bring my intelligence and strength to closer levels. So I'm getting 406% crit chance via the Ascendancy Righteous Providence here. So that is very nice there. Plus I'm getting a bunch of mana, which doesn't really matter because I am Eldritch Battery, but I'm getting a bunch of ES from the intelligence as well. 1% per 5 intelligence, so 80% ES there. And this strength is giving me a bunch of life and melee physical damage, which I am scaling to spell damage as well through Iron Will. So Iron Will is giving me 80% spell damage currently as well, a little bit more than that. So 81%. So still have that going. I do have this quality now, so this is providing me with 95 dexterity, which I needed for my bow, 212, and I have 225. So I'm good there. I'm going to need 14 more before I dexterity from some other source before I make the switch over, because I want to replace this ring. Although this ring is really nice, so I might not be able to. I'm still running the same rear guard with the physical as extra fire and physical as extra lightning corruptions. I have not yet replaced this. Preferably, maybe I could replace it with a better roll, more projectile speed, just closer to perfect with these same ones. But honestly, I kind of like rear guard. We'll see. Maybe if I can find a really good rare double corrupted quiver, that would also be an option. And that might help me fix some of my resistances that I'm going to have to mess around with. Right now, my resistances are fine, 93, 112, 95. But I'd like to, like I said, I'd like to replace this ring, which has a lot of resistances on it. What I'm thinking of replacing it with is Lori's Lantern, because it has a fairly large amount of chaos resistance, as well as the damage of enemies hitting you is unlucky while you're on low life. Since we're on low life, I've wanted to try this for a while, but I would lose, a lot of life and energy shield as well, so I'm kind of up on the fence. I might not replace this ring, but it's a good ring. 42 fire and cold resist, 73 life, 32 ES, dexterity, and then the damage, crafted damage. Low roll on that, but I didn't really want to expend more exalts getting that, although I have a decent amount of exalts, so I might try to push that to 17. I traded off my belt for the one I had on my Frostblade's Trickster, so now I have a Stygian Vice. It has a good amount of strength, good amount of armor, ES, very high resistances, and kind of a... I don't think I really need the life and mana regen per second roll. I can probably switch that over to just regular life, or life that might provide me... Yeah, I can get up to 55 life on here, so let's try to... 53 is good enough. I'm not going to roll perfect at the moment. There, that'll give a little bit of extra life, because the mana regen doesn't affect at all, so... And I'll just switch it over when I switch it back. Gloves are still the same. Yeah, no changes, just life, lots of resists, and then fizz converted to fire, and chance to unnerve enemies on a hit for 4 seconds. I believe this applies for totems, but I'm not 100% sure on that. If you happen to know whether or not it does work with totems, let me know in the comments. New boots. So I'm currently dealing with my lack of chill and freeze immunity by using Soul of the Brine King with the captured Captain Claiborne the Accursed, which you get from Frozen Cavern. And then I also have 20% movement speed and 100% chance to avoid being chilled. So shock is still a big problem. But I at least am not dealing with chill and freeze. I decided not to go up through the anointed flesh. Instead, I wanted more additional resistances, so I'm going down to prismatic skin, and I will probably at some point also get Soul of Steel. So I'm going to have to make a few changes when I switch over to my big upgrade that I'm going to have here. I got a breast dome. I got a 5 all resist one, and then I just linked it myself. This is actually the only body armor that I linked in a really good amount of fusings this whole league. I 6-linked this in 75 fusings, which is incredible. I haven't done sub 100 fusings in probably like 2 or 3 leagues now, so I'm really happy to have hit this in such a small amount of fusings. But yeah, this is going to be solving a lot of my problems. Being immune to crits is really good. The max resist is going to allow me to run Righteous Fire. Another thing I'm going to do... Let's see. Yeah, I covered all the gear. But yeah, the boots just are like life. I needed a lot of fire resist. I currently have action speed and life regenerate. Not necessarily super necessary. I currently have 553 life and ES regen, which is, way more than enough to spam my Holy Flame Totem. I'd still like more regen as well, though. So... I will be looking to get more regen because I still sometimes, when I'm affected by like a bleed and don't notice it right away, or an ignite because I'm not immune to ignite, my energy shield will go low, which means I take bigger hits to my life pool, which can potentially kill me. Another issue I have is I only have a little bit of chaos resist. I'm only getting like some chaos resist from this, and I must be getting some more chaos resist elsewhere, but I'm not really sure. Maybe it's from the tree. But yeah, I don't have a lot of chaos resist at the moment just yet. So that's a little bit of a problem as well that I would like to fix, because chaos damage is a problem. And because I'm taking this for freeze immunity, I'm not taking Soul of Aracali yet, so I can't get the captured Armala in order to get the additional chaos resist against damage over time. Which on a low life build, damage over time is the biggest threat. So yeah, so my skill setup is the Holy Flame Totem, Awakened Elemental Focus, multi totems, Cruelty, increased crit damage, Awakened Added Fire. Then I'm running Zealotry, Flame Wall. Flame Wall is good because you put it in front or right on top of your Holy Flame Totems. They shoot through it, and even though the Flame Wall can't do damage itself because of Ancestral Bond, you still do get the bonus of the projectiles which pass through the wall deal 78 to 117 added fire damage, which is really good. So I do have that going for that at the moment. Then I have Flame Dash. I'm also using Blink Arrow with faster attacks. I would like to also fit in faster projectiles, but yeah, right now I don't have all of my links kind of set up properly just yet. I want to finalize all of my skill gems before that. But I have Determination, which is getting +1 level. I tried to 21 it, but it's still getting +1 level from being socketed in the bow, which has +1 socketed gem levels. Petrified Blood, which I just hit level 20. I'm going to go ahead and get that to 20%. I don't feel like flipping it, and we're going to try to hit 21 on that as well. Oh, 2 21s in one video. What a day. Wow. Okay. Well, that's pretty nice. So yeah, 2220 Petrified Blood. Pretty good. That's going to be helpful. I just received a huge defensive bonus just from that right here. So but yeah, I have some open links or some open sockets for stuff I'm going to be doing. I have a low level cast on damage taken, level 3 with a level 11 molten shell and level 20 increased duration. I should probably also, I guess, go ahead and quality this up and see if I can get a third 21. Nope, no dice. Can't win them all. And then I also have a low level Enfeeble. Level 7 Enfeeble. So I'm going to be switching to Sniper's Mark as my curse as soon as I get the rest of my defenses sorted out. But because I'm kind of defensively weak at the moment, I put an Enfeeble on my cast when damage taken. So whenever I take a decent sized hit, it'll immediately proc Molten Shell and Enfeeble, which will give me a huge buffer of damage and also lower the damage that's being dealt to me. This is pretty huge. However, it doesn't help against damage over time once again, which is another problem. And lastly, I have Vitality, which I may as well try to 21. There's no point in qualitying it. Nope. And then Herald of Ash with Arrogance. Arrogance is 2020 as well. So kind of getting things set up so it actually looks like a build. I have a Granite Flask. Granite Flasks works pretty well with Skin of the Lords because of the 100% global defenses. The more would also be nice, but as you can see, I get I get right around 6,000 armor when I use this. Also gives me stun and black recovery, which is okay, and I have charge recovery. I had been rolling my flasks with physicians, surgeons, doctors, any of the chance to gain flash charge when you deal a critical strike on other builds. However, that does not work. I do need to replace this as well. It's low level, but I usually just use this flask for leveling. But yeah, that doesn't work with totems, so it hasn't been helpful. But like reduced charge dues, increased charge recovery, and increased duration are all really good. I don't need the reduced effective chill and freeze anymore. I have on my sulfur flask, so I'll need to re-roll that. And this one just gives me a little bit of crit chance, which bumps me up to 93.77, which isn't too bad. Although the uptime is not super good on the silver flask, but yeah, it's just a little harder to keep flasks up full time compared to normal. And then I have corrupted blood immunity on my divine life flask, so kind of got that going. The hypnotic eye jewel I have is really bad. It's crit chance, some energy shield, very small amount of physical damage to spells, which is good, but it's like a tier 5. But it does have elemental and fire penetration, which actually does, now that I think of it, nothing as well. So yeah, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the brass dome. I'm going to divine blessing my zealotry, so I'm going to have my divine blessing linked with zealotry in order to activate that. Speaking of, oh nope, try to get 21 there. I'm going to have my zealotry and divine blessing, and I'm going to activate that during tough fights, and then I will have on top of that purity of fire, which will give me a bunch more fire resist, and that with brass dome, and then I'll respec to get barbarism and soul of steel and a little bit more regen, and I'll be able to add righteous fire. So with that and sniper's mark, I'll have a ton more max resist. I'll be 84, 85 max resist pretty much across the board. Maybe only 83 for cold and lightning, but that's okay. And then I will have a pretty substantial amount of armor, and I will have a lot of regen. My health will still be kind of low, but we're going for mitigation layers. I'll be immune to crits. If I decide to go Lori's Lantern, hits against me will be unlucky, and then I just need to figure out a way to basically deal with damage over time. I still also need to the Eldritch Battery crafts for the Lycia's Blessing or whatever on Sanctified Relics is like 4.5 divines, so I haven't bought one yet. I'm currently in the hole between getting the brass dome, the bow that didn't pan out, and everything. I've spent probably like 12.5 divines on this character, and I've only made back like 6 divines since I started playing it. So, but I'm gonna be able to start blasting sanctums and higher tier maps now, so that I hopefully will be able to make back my investment and start getting some of the other stuff. Skill tree, I changed up the pathing a little bit, so instead of going through here or here, I now kind of have it going through this way and down and around. I'm still not sure that's the most efficient pathing. I also got rid of all the trickster stuff because I have a sufficient amount of dexterity on my gear now. I was able to get rid of a lot of this stuff. However, it also took me away from being max crit because I lost a lot of crit chance through all this stuff here, like 65%, plus some more strength and intelligence, which also impacted my crit chance as well through all of like blood siphon and everything. However, as a result, I was able to path down here and get prismatic skin, which is going to help me transition into righteous fire, which is going to give me a very substantial DPS boost. So far, right at the moment, my tooltip DPS with all of my flasks down is 521,000 per holy flame totem. I have 4, so I have 2 million tooltip with no buffs up. With my flasks up, that goes up to 626, and that doesn't factor in the flat damage from holy flame wall either. And that's pretty much going to be true damage because of the inevitable judgment. As you can see, I have Pious Path allocated, and that's because I switched my Forbidden Flesh and Flame. This was the biggest investment. These two in total cost like 1.7 between the two of them divines, but it does solve a lot of problems and is going to allow me to go into Righteous Fire, which is going to give me a huge DPS boost. So basically this allowed me to sustain my energy shield without having to worry about recharge or whatever. I didn't have to like go up and get essence infusion and also get like a whatever the energy shield recharge rate quiver is, as my corrupted quiver. So it allowed me to keep the rear guard. So yeah, this did a lot of good things for me, so I decided to go that way. You know, ideally I'd like to potentially pull in some Hierophant passives, but I think this is going to be better for me in the long run. I have a cluster jewel set up now. Basically, just a really simple rolled elemental damage because of the flat lightning damage and the percent physical is extra lightning. I decided it was best to go with generic elemental scaling. So I did get a regular one of those, and then I did my normal attack and cast speed since the Holy Flame Totem scale so well with the cast speed. So I decided to go with that, and I hit all attributes kind of second highest roll. You can get +4. Very low tier flat life roll, and Prismatic Heart, which is going to help me when I need to move my gear around and such. And then for my medium clusters, I just put on the ones that I had from my previous one. They do have Magnifier, which doesn't really help. AoE doesn't help this build basically at all. But I just went through pressure points to save me a point. So the whole point of this is to just get a little bit more crit chance. So 45 for 2 points, and then have the extra jewel slots, and then 10% double damage basically. Crit strike does double damage. So that is going to be nice as well. I have my window open for lighting, and there's a lot of stuff going on outside, so I keep peeking out there. But overall, it's kind of getting going. You can kind of see where the build is going, and yeah, I hope that once I get Sniper's Mark, Righteous Fire, and then Zealotry on Divine Blessing, that's going to be huge. Now, I am going to have to get some additional ES because I'm getting 100% global defenses from my Skin of the Lords. So my energy shield goes down to 607 without this. So if that's not enough to like sustain everything, I'm probably going to have to invest a little bit more in energy shield and grab that somewhere. And what I could do is just move one of these jewels here, get a small cluster that has the plus 100 flat energy shield node. So I'd get 6% and then 100 flat. And that would probably pretty much cover it with the amount of energy shield I do have. I also planned on getting Sanctity for my next level, but since I'm going to be moving points around anyway, it might not matter. But yeah, I should hopefully next time I'll have 100% crit chance, and then I'll have a bunch more multipliers basically, and I'll be able to really show off what the end game potential of this build will do. Hopefully, be like level 96, 97 by tomorrow, but I'll be happy if I hit 95. So yeah, this has been the update. A little bit longer, a little bit more in depth, but that's because this is actually a build and no longer a concept. And tomorrow, hopefully, it'll be a much better build. Hope you enjoyed. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I will see you next time. Bye.